everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads. And hopefully y'all can't hear my dad's TV downstairs, because I swear he's about half deaf and he has it up way too loud. So hopefully you can't hear it, but if you do, sorry. Today I'm going to be doing my wrap-up for November. Most of what I read was for the Believe-a-thon that's hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. I only read 12 books, which is pretty low for me. I've been reading around 18 or so, and so last month was a low month, but that's okay. And not all of these were for Believe-a-thon, but I'm going to go ahead and do the ones for that first. And you'll notice, if you watched my TBR for this readathon, that yeah, most of the books that I read, some of them I read that weren't on that, because I do that. I make a list and then I never follow it. Anyway, so the prompts were read a mystery, and for that one I read Stitchers by Lorraine Lawrence, and I'll put pictures here because most of them I'm going to have to put a picture here for. And I used that one for Read a Mystery and also for a book published in 2020. And it is about two middle grade kids who are trying to figure out who these old people are that live on Goody Lane. They call them the oldies because they're old, and they live on Goody Lane, so I guess, oldie but goodies. And they act really strange and weird, and Quinn, I believe is the girl's name, she's always making up stories about what she might think they are, like they're aliens or supernatural, or maybe vampires or something, but they are investigating to try to figure out who they are and get themselves into a little bit of trouble. But it was cute. It was fun. Wasn't great. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it, didn't love it, and so there's that. And then the next I have is read a book from a different culture, and I'm going to go with Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste, because I also used it for a book that incorporates folklore, and it incorporates Caribbean folklore, so I figured that would be good for a different culture since it's from there. And this one was kind of cute too, and it was about a girl whose name I can't remember. She is... Oh, I also used it for a prominent villain, because she's trying to save her village from a woman named Severin, I think, who is not a nice person, and she is trying to turn the whole town into like these mindless people and everything. So it was kind of fun. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. The next one is read an audiobook, and for that I used The Explorer by Catherine Rundle, and that was about, I think, 4 kids who airplanes crashes in the Amazon, and while they're trying to figure out how to get out of there, they run across a map that leads them to like some ruins, and it's kind of about the adventure that they have. And I liked it. Didn't love it, but I liked it, and I gave it 3 stars. I could use it for beautiful cover. I don't have one for that, but it does have a pretty cover with the bright oranges and stuff like that on there. The next one is to read a book with supernatural elements, and I read The Incredible Dead Pets of Rex Dexter by Aaron Reynolds, and this one was really fun and cute. Even though the main character Rex was a little bit annoying, I did really like it. I like the dead pets mostly, but it's about Rex who really, really wants a pet, and his parents don't trust him with pets because of a mishap with a goldfish. And so yeah, they don't trust him very well. But on his birthday, he's hoping he's going to get a dog, and he ends up with a pet chicken. and him and his friend was going to the pet store, and on their way there was this video game. It was kind of like the video game that you see in the movie Big, and but it was with a Grim Reaper, and you were supposed to try to, I don't know if you had to ask him a question or try to guess something. I can't remember exactly, but if you get it wrong, then you're cursed. And oh yeah, he wanted a pet, so he asked his wish was for a pet, and he didn't get things right, and so he gets a curse. And the curse mentions that pretty much that he was going to have these dead pets instead of live ones, and that's what he did. He gets quite a few pets from a local zoo, and somebody is killing these animals from the local zoo, and so he has to kind of figure out what's going on so he can get rid of these pets and they can go into the light or whatever. And it was just fun. I gave it 4 stars. And then the next is to read a book set in an alternate world, and I went ahead and used Frostheart by Jamie Lidler for that, since they're in some kind of world where it's like all snowy and everything. And that one's about Ash, who's kind of a little bit of a misfit with the people that he's with. His parents are pathfinders, and they've been gone since he was little, and most people are pretty sure that they're dead, but he thinks they're still alive, and he wants to try to find them. And when a pathfinder group comes there called Frostheart, he decides to go with them and see if maybe he can find out where his family is, because he has a gift that people are afraid of, and they don't want him to use it, and he doesn't understand, and so he's kind of an outcast. And I also used that one for a book that was set in a dangerous setting. Oh, and I forgot I actually have the book. I can hold this one up. This isn't the pretty cover that I see a lot of people, but it's the library one that I have. But it still has kind of a cool cover. But it's about a kind of a misfit group of people that kind of become friends. So I'm going to use this one for a book with a colorful cast of friends as well. And I really like the Yeti guy. He's probably my favorite out of the whole thing. I didn't love this as much as Gavin and some others did. I gave this 3 stars. It just didn't grab me from the beginning, and it really took till almost the end before I got kind of interested in it. So, but I liked it. 3 stars. It was okay. And then the next one I have is for read a book that has a new to me author, which let's face it, pretty much all of these are new to me authors. But I'm going to go with Courtney Crumman and The Night Things by Ted Nath. And this was a graphic novel, and it's about Courtney, who her parents overspend, and so they end up having to move in with her great uncle. And there she finds out that she is a witch, and that there are a whole bunch of spooky critters and things that she didn't know anything about, and she ends up getting involved with all that. And it was pretty fun. I'm interested in continuing, and I gave this a 3.5 stars. I think that all those books incorporated all of the prompts for the Believe-a-thon. I had to double up on most of them because I just didn't get to the books that I was wanting to read for them. And so, but that's okay. It happens. And then the rest of the books are going to be ones that I read that had nothing to do with the Believe-a-thon. And I read The Ghoul Next Door by Cullen Bunn and Kat Ferris. And this is an e-arc that I have that I got from Edelweiss, and the book doesn't come out until like July. So I don't know why I decided to read it, but it's one of those things. It's a graphic novel. I just kind of decided to look at it, and before you knew it, I read the whole thing. But anyway, so it is about Gray, who he had to make this project, and he had it all. He's kind of, I guess, fascinated with the local graveyard, and he wanted to go through the graveyard, and he had his project, and he kind of fell in a hole and messed up his project, and his teacher's going to give him a chance to redo it, and he redoes it. Well, while he was in the graveyard, there's this little creature that's seen him, and she follows him home and actually helps him with his project, even though he didn't know that's what was happening. But she also kind of, I guess, maybe has a little bit of a crush on him, and she's a ghoul, and she is always leaving him kind of little gifts that are made out of bones and everything. And he gets kind of involved with her, and I guess they become friends, but they're not supposed to be, because ghouls are not supposed to interact with humans. And then one day something happens and he has to go into the world of ghouls or whatever. And that's all I'm going to say. But it was cute. I would say probably about 3.5 stars. It was fun. The art style was interesting. Then the next book I have is One for the Books by Jen McKinley. This is number 11 in the Library Lovers series. It's my absolute favorite cozy mystery series. This one is about Sully and Lindsay are finally going to be getting married, and there's only one problem. The guy that was supposed to officiate their wedding is murdered, and so he was also a friend of Sully's, and so they decide they can't really get married until they figure out what had happened to him, and also they have to try to find somebody else who can officiate the wedding. So Lindsay's trying to finish up the thing she needs to finish up for her wedding while trying to solve a mystery. And it was loads of fun. It's got one of my favorite dogs in it. I love, I forgot his name. Heathcliff. I forgot his name there for a second. He's, I think, a Scottish Terrier. He's really cute. And Lindsay and Sully are just probably one of my all-time favorite couples. And I gave this 5 stars. Really good. Love that series. Highly recommend it. Then the next one I have is Dying Wishes by Colleen Helms. And this is an audiobook. And it's number 14 in the Shelby Nichols series. And this is a fun, kind of lightly paranormal type of cozy mystery. It's about Shelby, who in the very first book, she was in an accident where a bullet hit her head, but it didn't mess with her too much. It kind of like grazed her, but it gave her the ability to read minds, which got her mixed up accidentally with some mobsters. And she's also involved with the police, helping them. Because she can read minds, she helps Uncle Joey, who is the mob boss, with people making sure they're not doing dirty deeds against him. She's also works for the police, solving mysteries and helping them with people that they think are suspects. And she's just always getting herself into a lot of trouble. And it's a really fun series. And in this one, she's been kind of gone from working with the police for a while, because in the previous book, she was injured. And so she was recovering. While she's been recovering, they've been using another psychic, which that didn't go over very well with her. And she doesn't trust the other psychic. She's not really quite, a psychic. Maybe she thinks she's probably scamming them. And so she wants to try to figure out what's going on with them. But she also got some interesting news from Uncle Joey that's kind of got her off kilter. And she adopted a dog, and then finds out that the dog's owner was murdered. So she's trying to figure out what happened to the dog's owner. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but it was really good. I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. There's always something that's always keeping it from being a 5-star, and that is because I just don't like the I like them, but I don't like them. The relationship that I can't remember his name either. I'm just forgetting names. He's the bodyguard slash hitman, and I can't remember his name, and I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, with Shelby, they're always kind of flirty and everything, but she's married, and I don't know, sometimes their flirty gets a little bit too flirty. And so that always keeps me from giving it a 5-star. The next book is a horror book that I read called Nightmare by Chad Nichols. And it's a pretty good one. It was a little boring in places and a little confusing. It's definitely one of those that you have to read all the way through before you understand what's going on. And then sometimes I was still confused and it went back and forth. It's about a guy named Scott who, he had a very traumatic thing happen to him when he was a child. He was abducted. He was left in a cage, like a bird cage. And he was attacked by a bunch of ravens. And just a bunch of things happened to him. And so it's kind of messed with him now that he's an adult and married and got kids. And it has to do with like alter egos and I guess they call it DID, dissociative something, disorder. But yeah, so it's got a little bit of that in there. And I give it 3 stars, mostly because I just wasn't a big fan of the ending. The ending left me kind of aggravated. I can kind of get it, and I can kind of see why it went there, and I'm sure other people will like it. I know I talked to some people who said that the ending was one of their favorite parts. So, I mean, I can get it. It wasn't an ending that worked well for me. And then the last book I have is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. And my friend Barb and I have decided to buddy read this series, and so we started it. And this is about Irene and Kai, who are librarians for this. It's like this library that lives in like space and time or whatever. Nobody really knows about it unless you're a librarian, and you have to go through testing and things to become a librarian for this library. You're able to go through different dimensions, and in each like dimension there's like alternate London and things, and there's chaos. In some there's magic, there's dragons, there's vampires. It's got all kinds of stuff going on for it. And in this one, they were supposed to go to an alternate world and get a Brothers Grimm book from this one guy. And that's what they do. They go around collecting these books from the different worlds. And whenever they get there, an easy job turns into a hard job because the guy who had it was killed. He was a vampire and he got staked. And the book is missing. And they also find that there's this guy after her and the book and everything, and he's, I guess, a librarian gone bad from a long time ago. And yeah, so it was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It's actually a reread. I read this probably when it first came out. I think it was like 2014, maybe. Well, no, not quite. 2016. Okay. I read it when it first came out, but I had forgotten pretty much most of it. I mean, I remembered Kai, and I remembered things about him, and I remembered a few things about the library, but yeah, I'd forgotten most of it. So it was kind of fun to reread, and I am interested in continuing with the series, because that's one thing I never did. I never continued it. I read this one, which I do quite often, and I just forgot to finish the series up, so we're going to do that, and so I'm excited about that. And yeah, I don't know if I said, but I gave it 4 stars. And that's all 12 books that I read in the month of November. Hopefully December goes better, but I don't know. We'll see. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.